Welcome to my channel, where I'll share a terrifying story about the mysterious letters that started arriving and threatening my life. Let's dive in. The first letter arrived on an ordinary Tuesday. It was a plain white envelope with my name and address on the front. I thought it was junk mail, but when I opened it, a chill ran down my spine. The message was typed, "I know your secret. You can't hide forever." I stared at the words, my heart racing. What secret? I tried to remember anything that someone could use against me but found nothing. Dismissing it as a prank, I threw the letter away. But that night, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. 2 days later, another letter arrived. "This is not a joke. I'm watching you." Fear and anger surged through me. Who could be doing this? I started noticing every shadow and every person who seemed out of place. The days passed, and the anxiety lingered. Then came the third letter. "Your time is running out. Confess or face the consequences." Panic set in. I went to the police, but without a clear threat or suspect, they couldn't do much. I grew paranoid, suspecting everyone around me. The letters kept coming, each more threatening than the last. "I'm closer than you think. I see you. You can't escape." My sleep became restless, plagued by nightmares of a shadowy figure. I began noticing small, unsettling things: an unfamiliar car parked outside my house, a distant figure that vanished when I looked. One evening, I found a letter slipped under my door. "Tonight. Midnight. The park. Come alone, or suffer." My hand shook as I read the message. I considered going to the police again but feared it would be too late. So, I decided to face my tormentor. I left a note for my best friend, explaining everything, just in case. The park was eerily silent as I arrived, the only sound being the rustling of leaves in the wind. Midnight struck, and I stood there, heart pounding, scanning the darkness. Then, I saw a figure approaching. Tall, shrouded in shadows, moving slowly toward me. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling. The figure stopped a few steps away and dropped an envelope at my feet. With shaking hands, I picked it up and opened it. Inside was a single photo of me, taken from outside my bedroom window. Nausea washed over me. "What do you want?" I shouted. The figure remained silent, then slowly turned and walked away, disappearing into the night. I rushed home, every nerve on edge. I locked all the doors and windows, checking every room, but found nothing out of the ordinary. The image of the photo haunted me. Someone had been close, too close. The next days were torturous. Every knock at the door, every phone ring made me jump. Then, one morning, another letter arrived. "It's over. For now." No explanation, no hint of who had been tormenting me or why they stopped. I waited, expecting another letter, but none came. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, life returned to something resembling normal. But the fear never completely faded. I installed security cameras, changed my routines, and became more cautious. The letters had stopped, but the feeling of being watched lingered like a shadow I couldn't shake. Even now, as I share this story, I wonder if the sender is still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment to strike again. And while I try to move forward, the fear remains, a constant reminder of how vulnerable we all are. Despite my efforts to move on, the feeling that someone was still watching me persisted. Every noise in the house, every flicker of shadow at the edge of my vision, reminded me of those unsettling letters. I became hyper-vigilant, always on high alert. Months later, I received a call from an unknown number. Hesitant, I answered, and a distorted, low voice whispered, "Did you think it was over?" My blood ran cold. I hoped it was over, but the fear surged back. The voice continued, "You're never safe. You never were." Panic set in. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" I demanded, but the line went dead. I sat in the dark, clutching the phone, my mind racing. The police had been unhelpful before, but I decided to return, armed with this new evidence. The officers listened sympathetically but remained skeptical. They traced the call, but it led to a dead end, a disposable phone. Frustrated and scared, I returned home, feeling more alone than ever. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stayed up, every sound amplified, every shadow inducing terror. Days passed with no new letters or calls. I tried convincing myself it was just another cool prank, but deep down, I knew it wasn't over. The paranoia took a toll on my mental health, affecting my work and relationships. Friends noticed the change in me, and I had to make excuses, hiding the depth of my fear. One evening, while sorting through some old boxes in the attic, I found an old journal. It belonged to my grandmother, who lived in this house before me. As I flipped through the pages, I discovered notes about a mysterious figure who stalked her, leaving threatening letters and making eerie calls. My heart raced as I realized this wasn't new. This nightmare had haunted my family for generations. Determined to find answers, I delved into the journal, piecing together the clues. My grandmother mentioned someone named Richard, an old family friend who became obsessed with her. Could Richard, or perhaps his descendant, be behind these harassments?